Reverend Moses Chow and Ted and Leona Choi founded Ambassadors for Christ in 1963 after receiving a clear vision from God. They were among the pioneers of Chinese student ministry in North America. In the beginning, our co-workers found themselves performing a number of different roles. Reverend Chow traveled extensively to encourage students to establish Bible study groups on the university campuses, evangelizing and equipping Chinese students to become a vital mission force for God's kingdom. Some 50 years later, there are over 1,300 Chinese churches across North America. Many of them are former Bible study groups. Many of today's Chinese church leaders answered the call at AFC-sponsored student summer conferences, family conference, and Chinese mission conventions.
早期的校园事工对我很大的影响，因为我在大学2年级的时候，暑假我有一个朋友跟我同样是工学院的，他请我去参加暑假的这个营会，在那个营会就有一个弟兄在跟我讲重生得救的这个真理，结果我在那个营会我就接受了。
Since 1990, the number of Chinese students studying in the U.S. has increased to 170,000 in 2010. God has given us a clear vision. Reaching Chinese intellectuals for Christ in this generation has been our goal and passion. Ambassadors for Christ has 4 major ministries: literature ministry, campus ministry, training and conference ministry, and missions ministry. The literature ministry challenges the hearts and minds of the Chinese intellectuals of this generation. The impact of literature is beyond the limitation of time and space. Ambassador magazine was first published in 1957. It has been used by God and has provided spiritual nourishment to evangelize and equip Chinese intellectuals.
我是60年时候来到美国，开始的时候没有太多华文的基督徒杂志看，这杂志在我灵性方面的增长蛮有帮助的，也常常用这杂志给我们的学生看，在我们事工方面很有帮助。
AFC established the publishing ministry, bookstore, and literature distribution to help Chinese intellectuals to grow in faith. The Mainland Chinese Literature Ministry, which began in 1990, is one of our major ministries, distributing low-cost literature resources to Chinese around the world. So far, more than 4 million pieces of literature and media resources have been distributed. Campus Ministry is one of AFC's major ministries. As of 2012, AFC has 61 full-time and associate staff serving on 51 campuses throughout the U.S. and Europe. Located next to Johns Hopkins University, AFC JHU Student Center is open 24 hours a day, helping students.
来这边第一天，我先生把我带到了AFC， 就是使者训练中心。他们都是非常乐于助人，就是帮助了很多来的新生，像我这样的新生。他们还就是不遗余力的给我回答一些我觉得在信仰上有疑问的问题，然后给我一种感觉就是我觉得这些人很奇妙。
AFC Campus Ministry is an incarnational ministry. Our campus ministers live among the students and lead them to Christ. After students become believers, we use Bible studies, workshops, retreats, conferences, and life-on-life discipleship to train students to become leaders.
我实在是使者事工的果子之一。在98年来到美国的时候，本来是希望能够冲破事业的玻璃顶，但是神有特别的安排。到这里，神确实让我们冲破了信仰的玻璃顶。在使者的 Hopkins 查经班里面，我真正认识神。
AFC Campus Ministry in Europe also touches many Chinese students' lives. In the past few years, AFC collaborated with local churches and mission organizations to hold gospel camps in the UK, France, Italy, and Spain. And through these gospel camps, more than 300 Chinese students have become believers. This is a strategic ministry to the tens of thousands of Chinese students in Europe. AFC Training and Conference Ministry has a long history. Since 1957, AFC has sponsored a summer student conference each year in early June, with a strong speaker panel and hundreds of participants. Many young students were built up. Over the past 50 years, AFC organized many training and equipping events at the AFC Retreat Center and all over the world. These include events like gospel camps, discipleship training camps, Love for Life family conferences, retreats for professors and faculty, and Next Step follow-up. This is the over 150-year-old farmhouse remodeled into a training center. Numerous young students have gathered in this historic, simple farmhouse, hungry for spiritual training. However, as the needs change and the number of trainees increases rapidly, there is an urgency for a larger training facility. God is faithful. The new training center will be completed by the end of June 2013. It costs US $4.5 million and will seat over 250 people. God has demonstrated himself strong in confirming the building of this new training center by placing the vision in many people's hearts. May the Lord continue to work mightily by releasing his resources through his people to accomplish the building of the training center and use it to inspire, equip, and transform a new generation of Chinese students and intellectuals. Since AFC held the first Chinese Mission Convention in 1983, the Triennial Convention has drawn over 18,000 participants and has expanded from the East Coast to the West Coast and into the United Kingdom and Europe. It has been recognized as a significant mission convention to mobilize Chinese as a vital mission force for God's kingdom.
欧洲实在是需要一个宣教大会或者拆船大会，使者看到了庄稼已经熟了，需要求神打发工人收割庄稼的时候。
我们是2007年去费城参加过这个营会，每次都介绍一位宣教师，非常激励我。然后那时候我们已经搬到加拿大，就去东部就不太好去了。然后没想到神呢就在西部开了一个，神就感动我的丈夫去，所以他就给我们都订好了机票。
At every mission convention, there is an increased number of people responding to the call to missions and service to God. So far, over 2,800 have dedicated themselves to the Lord.
真正的把自己完全交托在神的手里，是在86年。那次使者的拆船大会，戴绍森牧师在这个台上呼召的时候，他说：“中国人你在哪里？”我跟我太太两个人泪眼模糊，他们站起来把自己奉献在神的祭坛上。
AFC arranged one-on-one counseling and mentoring for those who responded to the altar calls, and organized regular Next Step retreats to follow up on their commitment. Currently, there is a rising trend of Chinese studying abroad. In the past 15 years, the number has grown from 40,000 in 1985 to 170,000 Chinese studying in the U.S. in 2010. Statistics show the number of Chinese students has ranked the highest for 2 consecutive years among all international students studying in the U.S. At the same time, the trend of those returning to China is also growing. There is no doubt that God wants us to seize the opportunity now. Nevertheless, greater challenges accompany this opportunity. How should we do gospel ministry among the younger, new generation of students? And how can we mobilize them into a vital mission force for God's kingdom? How should we guide them so that they leave China for study and yet return with the gospel?
According to many experts, China will play a major role in the world stage in the 21st century. Facing new challenges and opportunities, AFC firmly committed and desire to partner with churches and mission organizations worldwide to win, equip, and mobilize Chinese students and intellectuals to be a vital missionary force for God's kingdom in this generation.